of motivation and time has been responsible for there being not many videos recently. But this review will be Thor Ragnarok, directed by Taika Waititi, who also did Hunt for the Wilder People and What We Do in the Shadows. Hunt for the Wilder People was very quirky. It was heartwarming, it was funny, and it had great acting in it. With Thor Ragnarok, I could definitely see a lot of the quirk, the signature Taika Waititi quirk coming through a lot of the film, but that was probably partly due to a lot of the jokes and gags being improvised, and that improvisational tone was very enjoyable. And it was very enjoyable because it's different. It's different to a lot of the other Marvel films, and I think a lot of the other Marvel films take themselves too seriously. You know, for what they are, they're superhero films. When I see a superhero film, I don't really want it to take itself too seriously. But in this case, it was a welcome change. And I would also say it's one of the only Marvel films that I would see multiple times. It's basically about Thor finding himself imprisoned on this planet, and he has to race against time to stop the goddess of death, Hela, played by Cate Blanchett. And I was originally thinking that Hela was just going to be this boring, cliched villain. You know, I saw that she was wearing all black, you know, black hair, black mascara. It did look like it was going to be cliched, but you know, she wasn't too bad. She was quite interesting with the spiky helmet and the sword throwing abilities. And while the film got off to a slow start, it really did improve. Like throughout, the middle part was probably the most exciting, I would say. There was a bit of trouble with the pacing throughout the film. Like some bits took way too long, other bits were too quick. But I didn't really mind it too much. And another problem I had was that Taika Waititi's quirkiness, I thought maybe when paired with Marvel's big budget production, and the fact that you would have to include a lot of the Marvel lore into it, I didn't really think it was a good pairing a lot of the time. I mean, it did have a different tone to the film, but at times it did seem like it didn't quite fit together. There were many new characters in this film that I actually really liked, like Jeff Goldblum playing the Grandmaster, for instance. I mean, you can't really dislike Jeff Goldblum in anything. He's just got such a eccentric character, even in real life, and I like the fact it shows it through his screen character. And that also goes for the characters of Korg and Meek. Korg, voiced by Taika Waititi, was one of the funniest characters in the film. Like with Korg being the dim-witted New Zealand accented rock monster, and Meek being the silent insect creature. It was a good pairing, and I enjoyed it very much. Another worry I had when going into this film was that it would just be, you know, with a Marvel production, it's always going to have a lot of CGI in it. It's always going to be a CGI slog. But this one, while it did have a ridiculous amount of CGI in it, I thought it was used quite well. Like, for instance, a lot of the shots, the lateral shots that Taika Waititi uses in some scenes were used quite artfully. For instance, in the beginning where Thor is sort of using his hammer to get himself out of this lava, fiery place, he's being chased by a dragon, fire dragon, and that lateral shot you see of him just kind of escaping its jaws, it was really well composed, I thought. And there were several other scenes like that in the film, which were actually pretty impressive. I don't know. So you can obviously see Taika Waititi's influence in the film, but when put up against this massive Marvel studio, there's a sort of expectation to fit it in with the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's where it kind of had a drawback on Taika Waititi's idiosyncratic style. But other than that, it's a good, solid film, very entertaining, very fun. Definitely one I would watch more than once. More so than any other Marvel film I've seen so far. Like even Guardians of the Galaxy, I thought this kind of surpassed it. It surpassed other comedy Marvel films like Ant-Man. To be fair, I didn't really like Ant-Man that much. I mean, Ant-Man was funny in parts, but I had high expectations and they were let down. But with this one I suppose I had low expectations, but then they were surpassed. So there we go. Watch Thor, if it's still on, because, you know, it's been quite a while since I've seen it. And this is a very overdue video. I'm going to give this film a high 7. A high 7. In the future I'll try to maintain some kind of discipline with these videos, but for now, goodbye. I would also like to add that the character of Scourge was pointless.